really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker, what you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the window.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome to the show. This officially starts the Labor Day weekend bender, the third annual. This is a Tavern tour stop, the legendary Sid's. We are on the square in Noblesville. I know some of you dig on this weather, but I'm not the biggest fan. I want August weather to resemble August weather, not April weather. But it is going to be a fantastic day. I can tell you this. For what is going to take place at Mystic Waters Campground, this is going to be an incredible weekend, both Friday and Saturday. We'll go into full detail coming up in a minute, but right now your Tavern tour stop with Heaven Hill Distillery is on the square at Sid's. You have plenty of time to join us, and we would love to see you out here. Phelan's the on-site engineer. I know Ethan is rattling around in here a little bit too, promoting stuff up, and James is back at the studio. I'll give you a bit of a rundown on who we're going to talk to later on today. Of course, 5 o'clock, Mike Chappell will join us from CBS 4 and Fox 59, and we'll go into further detail with Mike regarding this Washington Post report of the morning. And, like, I keep weird hours. Like, everybody thinks I sleep until, like, 10 or noon. And most of the time I'm up early, but sometimes I do kind of slide back into the sack a little bit, especially before a weekend like this, when I know that there's not going to be a lot of sleep to be had. And I kind of prep. I'll prep the body a little bit, get a little bit more rest. And I was hanging out in there this morning, and I saw that kind of roll past. I saw the Washington Post writers send it out. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, you know what, we knew all this before, because it was rarely talked about. And it certainly wasn't talked about when Jim Irsay passed away back in the month of May. But there is more to the story. And I guess the one thing that people are really going to focus in on, and this is going to be the first of many, so just be ready. This will be the first of many, because it is a compelling story. And certainly most compelling stories like this, unfortunately, have an incredibly sad ending. And this one does as well. But a lot of this focus, at least as I read it, was more on what the Colts weren't telling people and how folks were led. Now, I can tell you this. I would assume most people out there would not want a lot of their personal business, being talked about, for example. And they were doing what they've always done. There's no question about that. But that is going to be the major focus. It's the Beverly Hills Hotel. It is the back-to-back times. You knew about the Carmel incident going back to 2023. There was one down in South Florida and Miami as well. And then the one that goes all the way back, Turks and Caicos in 2020. Some of these stories, and listen, you guys are as dialed in as anybody out there. You hear and you've approached me about most of these stories. I do find it interesting because Jake and I had this conversation in the Crosstalk segment a little bit earlier, brought to you by Love Heating and Air, love-hvac.com with John and Chris Love today. We were having that crosstalk about it, and while he and they continue to try so hard with kicking the stigma on so many levels of understanding, of dealing with, and hopefully being able to overcome. The biggest focus about this was unfortunately something that Jim was unable to overcome. So we'll go over this story, and there's no better person to get into this a little bit more with. And listen, I'm not going to spend all afternoon on it, but certainly it is a big storyline here on this Thursday afternoon. And we're fortunate we have Mike Chappell on, who's been here absolutely forever and can speak on some of this. And we'll also talk about the Colts in general with Mike coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. And I'll give you more of my thoughts over the course of the afternoon. Rob Blackman of the Boilermaker Radio Network. Rob Blackman is going to join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. 5:30 with Ball State and Purdue coming up this weekend. I should mention the opening night, if you will, of college football. You got a lot of games going on. My Sycamores and McKendree coming up tonight at 6 o'clock over at Indiana State and Terre Haute. Certainly a shout-out to the shop, Broad Ripple and Carmel, for the mediums they're going to ship to me of Indiana State gear. Thank you very much, Alex and Brian, for that. And I will say this. I absolutely love the matchup off of Cold Springs Road on the west side coming up later on this evening at 6 o'clock. You have UND and Marion officially underway. I'm a big fan of Ted Karras, and before my show yesterday, I had the opportunity to listen to Jake, had that conversation with Ted Karras. I like him a great deal. And, certainly both UND and Marion, they hold a lot in our hearts around here with the local football programs because more so than anything else, there are so many players, so much of their personnel have tremendous ties to this area. I love getting the season started off as they're starting off coming up later on tonight at 6 o'clock. That is UND and Marion. And, of course, the college football landscape is dotted with a lot of matchups coming up. And, of course, this weekend, this is something we'll get into when I introduce our guest in just a second. We'll have to get into some of the betting lines on the games this weekend, whether you're talking about Purdue and Ball State or IU and Old Dominion or Notre Dame and Miami, Clemson and LSU, Texas and Ohio State. When I bring Brent Halverson on here, our betting analyst from Heaven Hill Distillery, we will discuss that coming up in just a bit. So I mentioned those three guests, and then Charles Arbuckle is going to join me coming up in a couple of minutes. We'll go over the Colts and their 53-man to date, what he likes, what he doesn't like, maybe what he feels needs to improve, and, of course, the focus on the quarterback situation with Charles Arbuckle, the former Colts tight end, and a part of the Colts Radio Network is going to join us in a couple of minutes. But let's bring him on board. Brent Halverson, our betting analyst, and, of course, of Heaven Hill Distillery. Our August Tavern tour stop is at the Legacy. 80 years and counting for Sid's here in Noblesville.
John, happy to be here. Good to see you, my friend. We've got a long few days in front of us. Looking forward to it all. You know what's exciting is, like you said, 80 years, and we talked the Evan Williams Tavern Tour. This embodies what it's all about, right? 80 years really shows what an establishment has. Hey, this place is great. It's got amazing food, amazing staff back there, amazing guests that come here. Come out and join us, and let's get some samples to show you in true Sid's fashion why it's been here for 80 years.
Yeah, inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live, you can probably see more of Brent than you can of me right now, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But this really starts a weekend that's like no other for us together, isn't it?
It is, and we're creeping. This is our third year now. I mean, it's wild how time flies, right? We talked about this going to be our 8th year of the Larceny Lock Noblesville Shot Show, which starts next Thursday at Joe's Grill. But in front of us right now, not only do we have a tavern tour at Sid's today, we are at Mystic Waters Campground in Pendleton for the next couple nights, right? So we got a show out there tomorrow, 3 to 6. Going to have some great food brought out by Taylor's Bar and Table and Ingalls and our good friend Kyle. And then Saturday, got some live music out there. And then you're going to do your third annual live takeover on the road, which we've perfected now over the years.
I think.
Right?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we got our fingers crossed that we have perfection working, but it should be a lot easier than our first 2 years of discovering stuff. As we found out, we were discovering stuff, unearthing. Well, that's good, but that's not so good. But yeah, we kind of have this down to a science now.
It really is.
I think is pretty awesome.
It really is. There's going to be a lot out there to celebrate. We got a lot of fun stuff throughout the day, throughout the night, each night. So looking forward to that as well. Looks like the weather's going to be beautiful.
You love this weather. I don't like this weather out here right now.
Oh, this is great. Hey, take the rain away, right? It's gone now, which is good. But this nice breeze at 70, mid-70s.
This is not August, though, Brent. It's got to be hot and humid, sweaty. I've got to be shirtless.
You can still be shirtless.
I want to be shirtless.
Still be shirtless, my friend.
Dang it.
Hey, just think back the last month and a half. It's been it's been like Hades out there. It's been pretty hot. So this is a nice refresher.
So Brent Holverson, our betting analyst, Heaven Hill Distillery as well. We will go over some of these college games. Anything pique your interest? It should, because you do have among these games, not tonight or, of course, just on one simple date this weekend, but I think periodically throughout the weekend there are some hellaciously awesome matchups. This is a fantastic way to get the college football season underway.
It really is. I mean, we're talking the big game, right? That Texas-Ohio State game that kicks tomorrow. That's going to be huge. I mean, number 1 ranked team, number 3 ranked team, just going ahead and start it early. But there's more than that. You've got, there's all kinds of big games out there. LSU, Clemson. You got what's the other game? The night game I'm skipping right now.
Notre Dame and Miami.
Notre Dame and Miami. I mean, there's 3 great games that you got to look at these. They're going to come out. And a lot of these games, John, starting off, you think they're going to come out slow and figure things out, right? They've got a lot of new things, like what Notre Dame did in the transfer portal. There's a lot of new pieces in that puzzle, which I think they're going to be great. So I think that we're going to see some good fireworks. And, again, not a better way to start the true season out than what we've got on the slate for Saturday.
That is Brent Holverson, who joins us this afternoon. We got some guests that are going to join us here live. We want to see you two. Sid's on the Square in Noblesville. This is a Tavern tour stop with Heaven Hill Distillery at 317-239-1070. That is the text line if you want to get there and send me some of what you have to say. We would love to have you. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, former Colts tight end, always a friend of this show, dabbles in now both college football and the NFL, a part of the Colts Radio Network. Charles Arbuckle joins us. Charles, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
We have a lot of time for you to be thinking about the start of the season. All right, so we got over a week to go. And again, this could be an ever-changing landscape, if you will, of a roster. But what do you think about the 53-man led by Daniel Jones to start the season in Week 1 versus Miami under center?
We knew that was coming, right, for a while. But I will say this. The one thing that they are doing is it seems like every defensive back that's been an all-pro or Pro Bowler is starting to get picked up or played at a high level, I should say. So that's interesting that Coach Lue is still trying to mix the gumbo pot, which I can't get my guy Matt Taylor to try only when it's cold or he do gumbo. So I tease him about that. But Lou Anarumo is still trying to figure out that back end, and then also linebacker. The thing is, we spent so much time talking about defensive back, the linebacker position was overlooked. And there were some changes there. That
hey, Charles, hold that thought. Charles, I'm sorry to interrupt. Hold that thought 1 minute. If you're on speaker, James, put him down. And we really want to hear what he has to say, and it's a touch difficult to hear. I want to make sure that he is loud and clear to everybody out there. So, James, give me a heads up when Charles rejoins. It sounds like he was on speaker, and it was a little bit muddy, and we have to have precision when it comes to Charles and his breakdown of this Colts team, and certainly more important aspects of this roster, because as much as we talk about quarterback, and Charles was alluding to the linebacker position, too, which seems like an ever-evolving situation. There is a lot to talk about. I know that you seem as if we're often going to be critical about it, but there are some aspects you don't have to be. I want to get back to Charles Arbuckle of the Colts Radio Network now. You were talking about the linebacker situation. As I mentioned, as we recalibrated you here, it seems like that is an ever-changing environment with the exception of Zaire Franklin right now.
Yeah, it seems like each time they can, I thought the defensive backs was an area where they would keep looking, but that linebacking position has really been one where they're trying to figure that out. And I think that's the part that you have to understand and know, okay, what are we going to do consistently, and how is that going to play out for the rest going into the season, but also once you get to the season.
So Charles Arbuckle of the Colts Radio Network, he's kind enough to join us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Do you like basically what this looks like? They had turned over the cobbling together of this defense firmly to Lou Anarumo, because this is like a dry erase board reset in a lot of spots, and especially in terms of Charles, what Anarumo wants clearly as his personnel in that secondary. He wants guys that can cover, guys that have been able to cover, and he wants guys that have shown in the past that they have availability. So it seems like that he's had a lot of say in what he has put together here, hasn't he?
Well, and I think, let's face it, he had some success in Cincy, even though things didn't end probably the way he wanted it to. I think that's probably why you're seeing that. I mean, you're getting the opportunity to see a guy that said, hey, look, we performed at a high level, and what I had was a defensive line that could get after the quarterback. I had guys on the back end that would attack the football. That was the one thing I saw right away when I went to practice. Their ability to attack and go after you from their defensive, stance and getting after the quarterback. But not only that, aggressive ball hawks in the secondary, and we saw a pick six at the very end. It became contagious. And interceptions and plays like that are contagious. I can remember when Ray Buchanan, that one year at the very end of the season, he just got on a tear. It was because the ball was getting tipped, ball would go to him, and Ray would take it. He took like 2 or 3 back for touchdowns. I think when you have a defense that thinks like that and is aggressive, and you already have a group of guys that have scored in their career, and now that's what they practice and that's what they preach, that's what you want to have. You want to have sudden offense from your defense. You want to have game-changing opportunities from your defense consistently. And I think that's what this team is trying to do, and that's what they're trying to build.
Charles Arbuckle, former Colts tight end of the Colts Radio Network. He is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. There have been situations, Charles, in the past. You and I have conversed about the Colts, and you have hoped that the quarterback can lift up the skill position group, for example, a wide receiver. But it's almost like now you're looking at hopefully the skill position group can lift up the quarterback, because it's more than just not believing in Richardson is ready right now, but the belief is if you stay away from mistakes and make sure guys are even pre-snap in the right spots, this team can be successful. So clearly their lean and their trust is going with maybe a group in the past we've always felt needed to be upgraded. This year, not so much. They're really leaning on that, I think, or leaning into it, if you will, in a big way, Charles.
I agree with that, JMV. I've told people, Anthony Richardson could play the part with the cape. He could play Superman, but he wasn't playing a good Clark Kent. And in this offense, I don't think you need to be Superman. I think you need to be Michael Pittman Jr. I'm going to get it to you, 10, 15 yards across the middle. A.D. Mitchell, we've been, the Colts fans and myself have been waiting on, kid out of Missouri City. I know that area well, played at Texas, showed you some things, but let's see it happen when the real bullets start flying. Tyler Warren is going to be a key weapon. Mark my words, 60 to 70 at least he's going to catch if he stays healthy, along with Mo Alley Cox. That position has just improved tremendously. And if Daniel's smart, he's like, hey, I know if I need 10, I'm going to throw it to him at 6. He's going to turn it into 10 or 15. Josh Downs, with his ability inside, if he's not healthy early part of the season, maybe it's Gould. Alec Pierce takes the top off of defenses, but he's also worked on his ability inside the interior. And then, okay, JT does what he does. I like Tyler Goodson. I also like DJ Giddens. I like the running back crew. And what we saw in that last preseason game is what I anticipate Daniel Jones being able to do. I think Shane Steichen wants to do a lot of boot action, move his quarterback away from trouble. Daniel's athletic enough to do that, and then take some shots when you get opportunities, but make the routine play. Get the ball to the receiver as a long handoff, like Bill Walsh used to say, hit him in the helmet or the chest so he can take that ball and take off with it and run. And so it's not a bad thing to call Daniel Jones a game manager if that's what you want to do. With all these weapons that I just named, I think that's really the key, staying out of harm's way, protecting the football. And if you're at 67 to 70% completion and you keep those turnovers low, this team has a chance. It's explosive enough. You've seen that even with Anthony, who was he was only a 48% completion percentage guy, still able to eke out games and win games. Now, how can you do it now where you attack the offense, attack teams, and you put their defense on their heels and make them have to defend you? That's what I want to see this year.
He is Charles Arbuckle, as our good friend from Southern California, Jim McCann, states you can't spell UCLA without Charles Arbuckle, who joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So give us your thumbnail sketch of thoughts on whether or not you believe this team with Jones can compete Now, this is considering their schedule, especially Charles at the beginning, but also consider the dynamics of the AFC South. With Daniel Jones and this team, can they compete with both here?
I really think, JMV, it's about what the people around Daniel are going to do to help him compete. I don't think if you're saying like he's going to win games for you and do that. No, I'm not going to go that far. But what I am going to say is that all the people around him, especially on the defensive side, because if this defense, and I've talked about it, Tony Dungy used to talk about 35 to 40 takeaways every year. If they did that, the offense protects the football. If this team attacks the way I think it will on offense, there's a really good chance that you can get a good start. You can get moving in the right direction, especially against a Dolphins team that I'm not really trusting right now. I think that's where you have had so many struggles at finishing fast, and coaches will say, let's go 1-0 this season, let's go 1-0 this week. If they can do that first week of the season, that really puts you in a position because you have 2 home games. Then you play Denver. Then you're on the road against Tennessee, which I think is a team that I don't know how good they're going to be with a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward. And then after that, you go out to Los Angeles, which is they're going to be a tough out. Then you have the Las Vegas Raiders. I think you need to really look at this team in quarters and see how they perform over each quarter of the season. But if you can start out that first part of your season at least 500, but you really want to be 3-1, that sets you up for a nice run. And that's kind of what I think this Colts team is looking to do, really get off to a fast start and not be in the hole, because it's so hard to get to the playoffs and it's so hard to compete because you're trying to get that at the end of the season, get hot. But if you do it early and you start off really strong, that gives you a really good chance to say, okay, now we can kind of control our own destiny and we can go in the right direction.
All right, Charles, I do want to get a smidge, if you don't mind, of college football conversation from you right here. Let's go ahead and start with Old Dominion and number 20 IU coming up at 2:30. So you brought him up before, Fernando Mendoza, who ran from his life a year ago at Cal, but also in moments in which he was saved, he found a life preserver. He looks pretty good. I don't know if you've noticed, there are some people out there who believe him to be the best quarterback in college football. I mean, we'll see how all this goes, but what do you like about this Hoosier team to sustain from what we witnessed in year number 1 of Curt Cignetti a year ago?
I always say if you have a good quarterback, you give yourself a chance. And that Fernando Mendoza, he might not be the best quarterback in college football, but I do trust that he can really make some plays. And to your point, he was on a team where he was running for his life. They had a great running back who's now at UCLA and some other weapons who don't seem to be there either. But he found a way to make plays, and I think that's what you want to have. You want to have a quarterback who's tough and who doesn't mind standing in the pocket and doing that. I think with IU, at least he has a team that's going to be built up front where they like to run the football, play action pass, you take some shots, but be very physical both offensively and defensively. And I think that's what you're going to have. Old Dominion is one of those teams that you've seen over the years that will upset a team and don't do really well in their conference. So the first game out of the box is always the hardest one because you've had no preseason, you've had no opportunity to, do those control scrimmages like you have in the NFL. So it's going to be interesting for IU with all of the changes that they've had. But the one consistent I think you have is now you have an upgrade almost in quarterback, and will that allow you to get to Elijah Sarrett and Omar Cooper and Jonathan Brady and those guys that are on the outside? I think it's going to really be predicated on how they run the football and establish the run with Kaleon Black and Roman Hemby. But I like this team from the standpoint of the quarterback position. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of folks didn't stay up till midnight watching Cal games like I would. You got to see them a little bit more in the ACC because they weren't always on late. They weren't a very good football team all the way around, but their offense was good because of Fernando Mendoza.
Charles, final thing before I run. 6th-ranked Notre Dame and number 10, Miami. That's not until Sunday, but that is one of the larger contests, certainly, of the weekend. You've got some interest, I think, all the way around. I think the interest to me is 2 top-level teams playing one another where there's a lot to be figured out in week number 1.
Yeah, I think it's the same as at Texas and Ohio State game, right? You don't know what you're going to get, but you know it's going to be two really, really good teams that can match up against each other. I do think this. I have really enjoyed watching Notre Dame over the last few years because it's always one of those things that we talk about Notre Dame and they, the things that they get, everybody pays attention to them, but they've had a good team, and I think Marcus Freeman has done a good job. I'm interested to see how Carson Beck plays. I think this defense gets after him early and often, and if he can withstand, because he's a tough guy, if he can withstand that, this game will be really, really interesting. And you got a Miami team that has consistently talked about we're getting to that next level. We're at the next level. We want to get back to where we were back in the 80s and 90s. Here's your chance on a national stage to show that against a Notre Dame team that's pretty doggone good and that you're going to have to battle to win this one.
He is Charles Arbuckle. We love having him on, and we feel even closer now because he's also a part of the Colts radio network. And Charles on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Unfortunately, Charles has other duties he has to attend to right now. We'll let him go, but we'll make this a weekly thing if you don't mind, buddy.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Looking forward to it. Appreciate you.
Charles, you got it. Charles Arbuckle of the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, the former Colts tight end, the legendary Sid, celebrating 80 years, and we are helping them celebrate in this month of August with a Tavern tour stop. Brent Halverson sits to my right. He rejoins our betting analyst on what is going to be the first real weekend of college football, and a lot more with Brent coming up. The samples are flowing. Heaven Hill Distillery is here, and the great food. We've already witnessed the tenderloin here, which is incredible if you want to go that direction. We have a lot more for you as well. Mike Chappell's going to join us. Rob Blackman's on the show, and a whole lot more. We're just looking for you. Sid's in Noblesville, which we now embark on what is going to be the third annual Labor Day weekend bender on this Thursday in Noblesville on the square at Sid's with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We are at the legendary Sid's Fine Foods on the square in Noblesville. I would have to ask you, the real question is, if you're not here right now, why are you not here right now? Are you on the way? Are you hustling to get on the way but keeping it between the lines? Under the speed limits? Because this is an awesome spot. Join us as we celebrate a Tavern tour. And we've got the Heaven Hill Distillery, which is flowing with samples, the incredible food here. And I do have to give a shout out, Rhonda, who joins us a little bit later on. So I pulled up here really early, and I said, hey, Rhonda, I said, I need to find some brisket because I'm going to have my neighbor, Jeff Watson of Paradise Day Watson, smoke that bad boy so I can do pool party coming up on Sunday when the Labor Day weekend bender continues for me on Sunday. So they sent me to Banter Meats, like a half mile or so away, Banter Meats. And shout out to Banter Meats. I got like a 12-pound brisket up there and is rocking in some dry ice in the back of the car right now. Brent Halverson of Heaven Hill Distillery. Banter Meats in Noblesville.
I'll be looking forward to trying Banter's meat.
Well, I mean, you could show up on Sunday if you
I know
want.
I
know you got a lot.
You
got a lot going on. I
absolutely
realize
would love
that.
to, my friend.
So Nathan Helm is with us as well. The boys and girls clubs of Noblesville. My daughters actually played there before, and that's not too far from Banter Meats, is it not? It's kind of right next door.
Literally across the parking lot.
Across the parking lot, because I saw that there just a little bit earlier today. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Fantastic. What do you got on your mind today, Nathan? Good to have you on the show, too, Nate.
I definitely want to thank Brent for supporting an event we had last week just across the street at the Nest. Heaven Hill and Brent were generous supporters of our whiskey and bourbon charitable tasting event that supports the Boys and Girls Club here in Noblesville and all the events that we do.
That was outstanding, too. I mean, and what a great place, the Nest, Slodgen and everybody over there. I mean, and it was a great turnout. There was a lot of great prizes to be had, a lot of good sampling going on, and you guys raised some good money, right?
Yes, we did. It was our second year hosting that event. Raised good funds for us that help support our affordable youth programs, after school and out of school programs for youth, kindergarten through high school.
How long have you been involved with the Boys and Girls Club?
I have been here at the club in Noblesville since 2016, so it's been a little bit. We've seen a lot of growth. We've moved into a new facility right down the street there. This past week, 2 weeks ago, we opened up for our after-school program, and we're serving 330 kids a day.
That's awesome right there. That's great. My daughters played a ton up here.
Yeah, we've
absolute ton.
Great facilities, great youth sports
never shot it really well up here either. Played a ton, but never really shot it well.
The altitude has to be up here in Hamilton
I
County.
think that's unfortunately, I think, the issue wherever we go. So, yeah, but she didn't shoot it particularly well up here, but she got up and down the floor.
No double rims, though.
No double rims, no chain nets or anything like that. It is all good. You know, I grew up playing at a boys club, too. The Bedford Boys Club, most noted because Damon Bailey was a year behind me at that Bedford Boys Club in Bedford, Indiana. But I do understand the importance of, even beyond the athletics portion of it, how important it is for people in any community, for example, like Noblesville.
Right. We, our programs are very affordable, while remaining high impact. Kids can come to the club every single day after school for $75 for the entire school year. That's not per week, per month. That's for the entire school year for a membership. And all those programs are focusing on things like academic success, good character and citizenship, and healthy, active lifestyles. So, really meeting the kids where they're at is very important. Serving 330 kids per day. For the entire year last year, we served just over 2,100. And, remaining affordable and making sure we're having and impacting as many kids as possible is very important to us.
It's wild. And I grew up in Seymour, Indiana, so not too far from where John was going there. But I also went to the boys' club for many, many years.
You guys had one in Seymour, did you?
Had one in Seymour, absolutely.
We had the Thornton Memorial Boys Club, I think, over there. Yes, right. Bedford, Indiana.
You know what I remember most about it, though? There was a couple things that stand out. One, I learned how to make a suicide, where you go up and get a little bit of every drink, right? So that's what we did there. And then we played a game there called Sack It. You guys ever heard of Sack It? Played it in a gym, in the boys club gym. Had a little, almost like a paddle. And it was this wild game, and it was almost like baseball meets lacrosse, if you will, something along those lines. And but that's, boys club growing up, and then we played every sport.
That was essential.
But it was essential. And what you're mentioning, man, what you're doing for I mean, that price, $75 for the school year, you cannot beat it. It's great because kids have a place to go right after school if their parents are working. There's all kinds of great things that go with it, and the friendships they make, getting them involved in sports if they don't have a good figure to kind of show them that route.
Yep.
Much respect for you and what you're doing, man. I really absolutely love it.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thanks to you. You know, events like last week at the Nest, really support that directly. $75 for the membership when those true cost of services are approaching $1,100 per kid.
That's wild.
And, keeping it affordable for working class families is what it's all about.
That's awesome.
So my time at the Boys Club, my vivid memories, bumper pool, 8-foot goals, and Fanta cream soda. In that order.
That's
Bumper pool was.
Oh, yeah.
That was customary at
Bumper
the
pool at
Bedford.
foosball. We had foosball. That's where I got
Bedford
my early love
Boys
for.
Club.
We've still got a bumper pool table sitting
I
out
love
on the
a
games
little
every
bumper
day.
pool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah.
Now, do people? Do you have to be like a younger age to dig bumper pool, or can older generational folks like
I'd love to play. I've not shot bumper pool in, 30, 40 years. It's been a while. I don't know. I'm going to have to go check it out, man. We'll have to do a little
I've got
event.
a buddy with one, a Hancock.
Do you
County
really?
guy.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do people have that in their basement now too? Bumper pool?
I think they're kind of antique, but it's still fun. The kids love it.
So Fanta cream soda, by the way, too. There's probably a reason why I had kidney stones by the time I was 14. But no, seriously, it is important. There's no doubt about that. And thanks for doing what you do.
Yeah, Nathan. Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thanks for having me on.
Nathan,
Pleasure, Thank
Boys and Girls Club of Noblesville. Nathan Helm was with us and a big-time listener to the show, man. We appreciate that. I am a tremendous fan of boys and girls clubs anywhere.
Absolutely. And like we just talked about, getting kids, if they don't have, they need a spot to go after school, parents are working, they're going to get out there, meet some great friends, learn how to play some sports, maybe a little bumper pool, bring bumper pool back, right? And just what it kind of just embodies. It's awesome. So, I was actually I was a big brother for about 4 years back in the day when I was down in Seymour. Again, just we take for granted what we have sometimes, right? So being able to kind of give back to and just really respect what they do, and it's awesome that Nathan was able to join us here.
We had a basketball team my age that played out of the Bedford Boys Club. And, again, this was like a year, I think, or two maybe above Damon Bailey. And we traveled to Marion. We went to two different places. We played at Garfield Park once, and that was right before the big blizzard of '78. But before that, we played at Marion at the Powell Club. And Derek Keys, who I think everybody knows, Derek Keys was a part of Purple Rain with Marion back in the 80s, where they went back to back to back. He was the same class as Jay Edwards and Lyndon Jones. Derek Keys so worked my ass over. I'm like 9 years old. I cried, actually. I cried because I was getting worked by Derek Keys, who went on, if you guys remember, he was a fantastic player, about 6'6" or so, went on to play at Wake Forest, had knee problems, I think, and he's been on the show before, but he was a part of that storied Marion program coached up by Bill Green back in the 1980s with Purple Rain. But we went up and played the Marion Powell Club and went around to different places, too. That all was because of the Boys Club. And that was the Bedford Boys Club back in the day, which is pretty awesome.
That is outstanding. And they're great stories, right?
Yep.
I mean, and love to see that it's still continuing this day. And again, what they're doing for boys and girls out there both alike are pretty amazing. And look what happened. You turned into a baller, man. You're a baller.
I would think at 55, I know Lyndon Jones listens. I think I could take Lyndon Jones now.
Hey, I saw some.
I knew I could get one of the purse singers. I know that for sure.
I saw you hitting some three balls out at the golf outing, man. It was impressive, brother. Impressive.
I think I could get Lyndon now. Lyndon's probably laughing somewhere listening to this. Hey, JMV, I was a member of the Bedford Boys Club for years. I loved it. The floors at Bedford would kind of get all creaky. Something out of Hoosiers. We had 8-foot goals and then 10-foot goals in the Bedford Boys Club.
And you prefer those 8-foot, huh?
The 8-foot goals. I think I was in second grade when Derek Keys worked me. I swear to you, to this day, he dunked on an 8-foot goal when we were in second grade. But I started. It's one of those things where I started grabbing my side. I always make the thing. I say, the biggest excuse ever for somebody that wanted to get out of running was I have shin splints when we were growing up. I would have said, hey, I have shin splints. I got to go out because I was getting so worked back then. Derek Keys. But now It's a badge of honor because he was one hell of a player. All right, Sid's in Noblesville. We got a lot more to get to, Brent, and you've got some college football games we're going to talk about a little bit later on, too.
Absolutely. Some big games coming up. Way to start granted, it started last week, but now we get the full slate coming this Saturday. And NFL right around the corner. But, yeah, there's a couple really big ones, and college football is doing it right, getting things started off with a bang this weekend.
Marcus Kidwell says, you guys are killing me. I was born in Bedford, grew up in Brownstown, and cruised around Seymour for the ladies. Were there ladies in Seymour?
Well, I tell you what we used to do, and if you remember, my friend, it was called Scoop in the Loop in the Jackson County Public Library parking lot. And, I started this my freshman year. I mean, we were on bikes up through there, right? But it was the to-do. People came from Brownstown, from Bedford, from Columbus, all to get down and cruise downtown Seymour.
We did Bloomington, Indiana, and you would cruise, which I don't think you could do anymore because there's no parking garage. But we would start on Walnut and then go around Kirkwood, which is closed off now for outside dining and bums. And then you would come back around Kirkwood, go back up Walnut, and then come down College and do does Jeff remember that too? That was cruising, and then a lot of people, especially the townies, would sit in the Bloomington parking garage, which is no more. And that's right there on the
That's
square.
kind of what happened to Seymour, too. Everybody would park in the parking lot, and people would cruise down to say hi, look at some females, do your thing, and enjoy life.
Now in Kirkwood, you have outside dining and bums asleep. That's what you got in Kirkwood and Bloomington right there. Hey, quick break. We'll come back. Sid's on the square in Noblesville. 80 years, the celebration for a Tavern tour stop. Oh, man, look at that out there, too. Quick break. We'll come back. I know somebody, man, Jason's there. Todd is here. Jimmy is over there. Yeah, Billy is over there, too. We've got a lot of our good friends on this Tavern tour stop. We'll come back with you. Brent Halverson with those college football games. The article in the Washington Post regarding Jim Irsay and what they described as a Colts cover-up. We'll get back to that a little bit later on. Mike Chappell, Rob Blackman, Purdue football, and a lot more. Don't go anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
You guys aren't leaving me, are you? Well, you can't just eat or drink and run. You got to stay for a while. All right, then. Good to see you, pal. Sid's, Noblesville, the square downtown, JMV. Kojak Fuller, eventually Mr. Basketball, lit my ass up at the Anderson Boys Club. But I hit 2 free throws to win the game. I was one hell of a player in the 6th and the 12th grade. Nick from Park Tudor. I'm one hell of a player right now. I just had to wait until I'm 55 to get over on everybody else. 55 years of age.
So are you playing with like-aged, or is it...
I play with much younger.
Much younger.
Much younger.
And you're hanging with them.
And they get their ass worked, and they know it. They know it.
So you don't have to run a whole lot. You just run down the three-point line, shoot it, hit it.
Because I end up hurting myself because I'm an old fart.
Well, yeah, you had your the boot, right? Was the boot the
I got it out. I got it out in the car right now because I wear it.
Just in case?
I wear it just for support after I play. I don't know why. It probably doesn't do anything for me. Dr. Robertson, if you're out there, send me a message right now. Wearing a boot after I play, does it do anything for me? Is my question. I'm not sure it does.
It'll probably keep you from doing anything further if you've done anything, right? But, yeah, that'd be a good question to know.
JMV, did you really just eat cottage cheese as you did a Daisy brand? I did, actually. Shout out to Daisy brand. I did have some cottage cheese. It was
a perfect little setup, too.
It was right there. I mean, it should have been on video, but we were in break. All right, Jimmy is here, and Jimmy has a hot take. Jimmy, what's your hot take?
My hot take is, well, first, thanks for having me on, John.
You got it, buddy.
Always love to be on with you and Brent. My hot take is it's not going to go over well with a lot of Notre Dame fans.
No.
Especially my good friend Kevin Bowen. But, you know, John, I'm a big Miami Hurricanes fan.
You are.
I used to live down in South Florida. And
you did?
We actually had season tickets when they were in the Orange Bowl. Great stadium. A lot of memories back then. But my hot take is Miami 34, Notre Dame 24.
Why is Cristobal coaching from the booth?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
I saw that the other day.
Research,
but they'll be sweeping the nation if they end up winning, probably.
And I think we hold Jeremiah Love to under 75 yards rushing.
So you're a believer in Carson Beck, is
I
what
am
you're
a
saying
believer,
right
yeah.
here.
So, a few days ago, I called into the morning show, and I just wanted to clarify why I have my Miami fandom. So, hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
You got it, buddy.
I appreciate it. I'm against you on that score, though. I'm the other way. I think Notre Dame pulls it off by 14.
No, you like Notre Dame?
I do.
Well, we'll officially get into your weekend of college football picks coming up here in the 4 o'clock hour. Jimmy, thank you very much. But you like the Irish in week 1.
I really do. And you know what's crazy? I mean, again, a lot of these games are, they're on the road. They're a 2.5-point favorite right now. And you got the number 6 Notre Dame squad. Again, a lot of new pieces that they pulled from the portal. I think they're going to have it all together. I really do. I think they go into Miami. And we'll talk a little further. I'll give some score updates on these big games and where I think they'll come in at.
Brant from Fisher says, Bedford mentioned here, I took karate classes at the Bedford Boys Club.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
A lot of Southern Indiana love coming out today. I love that.
JMV, don't the older people playing hoops with younger people just stay on one end of the court and cherry pick? I do not. I play both ends. I sprint the floor because part of my whole thing is I want to play and I'm competitive, but I'm also trying to burn calories at the same time. So I sprint. So that's kind of my game right
that's
there.
That's impressive, my friend.
Sprint and sprinting hard is what I'm about. JMV, what kind of season statistically does Danny Dimes need to have to retain QB1 next season? So Daniel Jones of the Colts, what type of season, Brent, do you think he has to have to answer this question to retain or to be around again longer than just 1 year?
He needs to be 4-to-1 TD to interception ratio, or somewhere 3-to-1, somewhere in that. Interceptions, got to hold those back because that's, he can get kind of random back there. And again, it's going to be interesting to see it under a new regime, right? Like how that's going to all come together. But if you got to get Pittman involved, you got to get Tyler Ward out there. He's this big young stud out there. There's some things out there for them. And JT's got to stay healthy, and you got to be able to have that run pass option there. So
here's what's weird to me. I think that if he just wins games enough to where they where they end up, getting into the postseason, because I think that's what keeps everybody around inevitably if they get into the postseason. If they don't, I think this is going to be, kind of an etch-a-sketch, and you shake it or you pull up the copy and you start new. If they get into the postseason, that changes the dynamic. That's where I would start with him.
Winning cures all, right? So if you go out there and win some games, you're absolutely right. But in saying so, you've got to limit those interceptions and turnovers, because that's what will flip that script almost instantaneously.
JMV sprints hard to get back on defense. I sprint hard to get back on defense because then I stand back there and rest for a second before everybody else gets back on my end. Understand that. There's a method to the madness. It's also sprinting back because you can rest a little bit longer if you sprint back. Words to live by, basketball fans. Rob Lynch is over there, formerly of Channel 13. Now of Next Star Channel 13, Rob Lynch. Brent joins us on the other side. Your college football look for what is going to be the official opening weekend. Brent and I had that conversation. It's a Tavern Tour Stop, Sid's in Noblesville. We would love to see you the starter of the JMV Weekend Bender, the third annual at Sid's in Noblesville, with Mike Chappell, Rob Blackman, and you at 239-1070. Coming up next.
Mr. Falcon.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
This is Sid's on the square at Noblesville. And we celebrate 80 years as you get rickrolled. The JMV takeover on Saturday night. This is together forever, not even never going to give you up. That's well done by James right there. JMV, you only sprint hard to get back on offense. Short. I'm a big caller of short when it goes in. I've always been that way. I've got to give a shout out. Jason Hofsetz, who works with the Bob and Tom show. And I saw Christy Lee. I think I told you this on Monday. I go to the Black Keys with my friend Doug on Sunday evening down at Everwise. And I saw Christy Lee. And we were talking about a lot of things. But Jason Hofsetz has been a longtime producer of the Bob and Tom show. And he brought me a CD called Ron Sexton Parts Unknown. I can show that AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Of course, I think most of you know the late Ron Sexton was Donnie Baker. And this has just incredible stuff on it right here. And I so miss my friend Ron Sexton. We talked all the time. We worked together back in our days on Fall Creek Road with Mark Patrick. He was a part of the national show Mark had on Fox. I was a part of the local show in the afternoon, like right now. But we worked together for a number of years, talked absolutely every day. And then it was great to watch him explode comedically and really make a footprint for himself. And it's still incredibly sad for me today to think about Ron Sexton no longer being with us. He brought so much incredible joy to me, and really so many, but certainly to me, because the guy was just naturally funny. There was no working hard at it. And what he did, he took observations of growing up and just living and made that a part of what he did and put that into Donnie Baker. And I miss that a great deal. So thank you, Jason, for that. And I certainly will listen to it. It's called Ron Sexton, Parts Unknown. It was good to see Jason. I occasionally see Jason. I mentioned I saw Christy Lee. I think Whit Grayson was downtown. I know Dave Dugan was as well. Saw them prior to the Black Keys show. We're talking about legendary voices in this market that certainly some, as Ron, no longer with us, are incredibly missed. But thank you, Jason, for stopping by. Sid's in Noblesville on a Tavern tour stop for the month of August. Brent Halverson, JMV. We talked to Charles Arbuckle a little bit earlier, to Nathan Helm of the Boys and Girls Clubs here of Noblesville stopped by too. We got Rhonda from Sid's, who will pull up and join us a little bit later on. Mike Chappell. And we'll also talk to Rob Blackmer of the Boilermaker Radio Network as Brent Halverson rejoins us right now. What's on your mind over there, buddy?
Hey, you know what? Big weekend is what's on my mind, John.
Yes.
It's all kind of starting right now.
It is starting right now.
Here at Sid's, the 80th year in business for Sid's here in Noblesville. And awesome to be a part of it with the Evan Williams Tavern Tour. Rolling into a huge Labor Day weekend with the Weekend Bender out at Mystic Waters Campground starting tomorrow. We'll be live from 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Then there's some music out there tomorrow night, too, John. A little bit of rundown.
I love the music. By the way, we got to give a shout-out to Nicole, who's a part of your gang now,
Nicole
too.
Miller is now officially with Heaven Hill Brands, and we're going to get her on air tomorrow, right?
Is she going to be?
We're going to have her on air tomorrow out there and get her all ready to rock and roll.
She may have to take over because I'll be, like, mostly in the bag by the time she comes on, probably.
That's probably we'll have her all primed, ready to go, too. So she'll be out there. We'll have some great samples out there while we're doing the show from 3 to 6. But then we've also got Taylor's Bar and Table bringing some food for our
shout out to Kyle.
Shout out to Kyle. Great guy. Looking forward to seeing them out there tomorrow. They'll be out there, like I say, with some great Taylor's food. Bringing it out from 3 to 6. We'll be on air. Then we've got some live music with Sammy and Cully tomorrow night.
Sammy and Cully.
Sammy Farr is one of the most amazing vocalist I've ever heard. Like, she is Susan Tedeschi wise. I mean, she has that sound. I mean, and Jason Coley too. I mean, they put on. They're wonderful. We're honored to have those two out there playing tomorrow night. They'll be playing from 7 to 10. The Bougie Brown Box Food Truck will be out there 5 to 10. And then Saturday we got a little water float competition. So if you got a big float or you can bring something, we're giving away prizes for the best float, the best name. We've got a shuffleboard tournament going on tomorrow afternoon. We've got college football, John, that we're going to talk about here in a second. College football starting at noon. We got some big games to start the slate off. Then we're going to have some live music out there Saturday afternoon, 1 to 4. Band called Way Day, so you can float in the water with your big bold float that you got.
I believe Litzy will be floating in the water.
He will
be among them.
He might have his JMV Suck sign out there too. So let's see if we can't get that going. And then, like I say, the all request Saturday night live 3rd edition out there. You'll be taking the stage at 6 to 12. And doing some live requests. So everybody that's out there is going to have some fun. We're going to have some good tunes played, and we've got beautiful weather in front of us.
Colts Conversation, Jim Irsay, Washington Post article from earlier today. We'll get back into and a lot more with you in just a second. I did want to ask you as far as this weekend is concerned for Mystic Waters Campground, any availability cabin-wise as of right now?
You know, as of last night, I think there was one cabin left.
Okay.
One cabin left. Now, there are a few because there's several that are booked for 2 nights, right?
Yeah.
So it might be Friday, Saturday, Sunday's open, or maybe it's Saturday, Sunday, maybe a Friday night's open. So call up Mystic Waters Campground, ask for Lisa, any of the girls up there. They'll take care of you, get you all squared away, and come on out and join us for a beautiful weekend. With you, my friend.
No, it's going to be great. It'll be great coming up tomorrow,
bender.
too. There's no doubt about that. And then, of course, on Saturday, it will be great. And, you know, as I mentioned, Ford's Garage going to bring some food out there coming up around 11:30 or noon on Saturday. And then a shout-out to Kyle and Taylor's Table. That is over in Ingalls will be providing the food coming up tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, hey, one other thing I want to toss onto that, too. So my daughter Sierra, she started
we
a
talked about
drive.
that yesterday,
did
too.
you? Right on.
But go ahead and do it again.
She started a small drive a couple years ago. It's called Soul Shine, S-O-L-E Shine, so Soul Shine. And she's been collecting, we collect shoes, and she wanted to do something to help increase inventory as there's a constant need, at changing footprints, and that's the organization that she does it for. So anybody coming out, if you've got a pair of gently used or new,
I have shoes for you.
Not just beat up, but some nice shoes, decent shoes, bring them on out. Sierra's going to take all these, collect them, and she will be doing and passing those along to Changing Footprints. So, I mean, I'm proud of her. She started this on her own, John, and just trying to help people out. And so, I've got a bunch of pair. It helps me clean the closet out. A lot of good stuff. We're going to help some unfortunate people that need some shoes. So, if you got a pair, bring them on out. We would love to see them and have you.
At tomorrow, really this weekend in general at Mystic Waters Campground, our 3rd annual Labor Day weekend bender. Tomorrow, this show is going to be there with Heaven Hill Distillery, Mystic Waters Campground off of I-69 in Pendleton, and then the JMV Takeover all requests Saturday night from 6 until midnight out there. But we should mention, Brent, this is officially week number 1 of the college football season. I guess you had week 0 last week. That's okay. Week 1 starts with number 25 Boise State and South Florida coming up from Tampa later on tonight. And then you have a lot of other games, a lot of other teams officially underway. Locally, you got some good stuff, too. Don't get me wrong. Indiana State and McKendree. That's over in Terre Haute later on this evening. Good to see you, Paulie. And then UND and Marion. What a great matchup and a great way to start college football out here in Indy. Coming up at 6:30 tonight. That is off of Cold Spring on the west side at Marion. So we'll start right there on some of the games we're going to be watching with you this weekend.
Well, hey, one game tonight that I actually like. So, again, hey, anytime we're starting the football season off, be it college, be it NFL, tread lightly. We're going to see what really comes out. There's a lot of changes that go on, especially with NIL and transfer portal and everything else these days in college football. There is one particular I do like a lot tonight, and that is Nebraska at Cincinnati. Nebraska laying 6.5. I love Nebraska tonight. I think Nebraska goes there and gets that one done. A couple big games tomorrow. We'll talk a couple local ones here. We've got the Ball State Cardinals going up against Purdue. Purdue laying 17.5. Again, that's going to be a tough game to kind of gauge, tread lightly. But I kind of want to take my Cardinals here. I think that's going to be within that 17.5. And then the big games, right? 12 o'clock, Texas at Ohio State. That is going to be a ball game right there. So, hey, I look at it this way. I love the under in this game. I think they start slower. They get a feel. We're going to see what Manning's got to bring. But I think Texas goes in there and gets this one done in a really close game. They're a 1.5-point dog to Ohio State. I think the Longhorns pull that out. Another big game. We got LSU.
Well, I want to stop right there with you. What is the angle for you with Texas? Is it Arch Manning? Is it knowing the offense more than Ohio State, kind of rebooting here on the fly early on?
I think it's a lot of that rebooting you speak of because, again, it takes some time to get that sync put together, right? Like, you got to get in sync together. I just think Texas is poised, and it's going to be interesting to see how Arch Manning. I mean, everybody's looking to already put him into the first-round pick next year, and the Colts tanking to get him. Well, let's let him play this year and see how he does. I just think it's going to be tough, though. Going in there and playing and winning a game is tough. But, hey, plus 1.5, I'm going to go ahead and take that 1.5. And again, tread lightly to start, but I do think Texas goes in and gets the W. Also, LSU and Clemson. Probably this is a big one, too. I mean, it's a 4.5-point line with Clemson. I kind of like LSU here. I think LSU gets the win, or if not, they cover. We stay within 3 or 4. That means they cover that 4.5. And then the other big one's going to be Notre Dame and Miami. Notre Dame's 2.5-point favorite. I think Notre Dame has retooled. I like Notre Dame probably the best out of all of these to go in there and get the win. Notre Dame, unlike Jimmy said, I'm going the other way. Notre Dame 38. Miami 23.
Well, Jimmy's a Hurricanes fan and likes Carson Beck a great deal as they bring in another veteran quarterback and try to establish what Cam Ward did at quarterback for them a year ago.
Absolutely. And then we have the Hoosiers play at 2:30, I think, on Saturday. IU Old Dominion.
Old DU, and I think that Kurt Cignetti's done a hell of a job to sell everybody on, hey, this team can get some things done. Look what they did against South Carolina a year ago. How close do you think they are? And then how impressed do you think we're going to be with Fernando Mendoza, which a lot of the college football world before the start of the season has been talking about at quarterback for IU?
Yeah, again, like you said, Cignetti did what a job last year, right? They brought IU to having a football program, which has been a basketball school for forever. But what he's done there, and again, what he brings to the table, it creates the buzz. You've got a full fan base there now. You got students ready to go. It's going to be loud and proud there. I think it's going to be they're going to get out there and do some high flying. I think IU gets out there and gets it done. It's a big number, 23.5, but I think IU can do that. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement building around this team, and hopefully they can do exactly what they did last year and get into the playoffs again. That was pretty much a unheard of, right? And,
it was a complete game changer for everybody. I mean, the excitement level. I mentioned this, Brent, in terms of what we witnessed with the Pacers in the postseason and that of IU. And then really Boilermaker basketball, which has been sustainable and consistent. I mean, that's what you've been leaning on around here. And you saw with how exciting people can get around here if their team does well. You saw that with IU football, and you certainly saw that with the Pacers back in the spring and early summer. You just kind of sit around and wait on the Colts to get things even kind of in gear.
Yeah, you're right. This is going to start it off, right? This starts off the Indiana sports world for the football season, and hopefully they can come out there and give us a spark and show us what they're going to have this year. And again, we're going to learn a lot in the first couple of weeks, and that's where it all starts to come in. We start looking at angles and how we're going to approach games and whatnot. But Hoosiers minus 23.5, 2:30 Saturday. Should be fun to watch.
The Mendoza quarterback story, I think, is cool as hell, and I love the fact that people are talking him up as maybe the best quarterback right now to start in college football. I just, all of a sudden that becomes tough to live up to. But I will say this. One of the reasons why I think I will like him more than anything else is what Charles Arbuckle and I talked about, and I brought this up before. He was on the run the entire time at Cal. He comes in to Bloomington, clearly still the focus of defenses, but also with an offensive line. And I trust Don Fisher. Don Fisher has told me a number of times that what IU has done with their offensive line that he believes is playing or will play at its highest level as we have seen in absolutely forever. So there was a major focus on making sure you bring this guy in who was on the run nearly every single snap a year ago at Cal and have him play behind an offensive line that can protect him, and then have some veteran wide receivers in Surratt and Cooper, and then go to work in that form and fashion. You really understand and certainly like what Cignetti does. I like it with both the schedule and the personnel because it makes sense in terms of him winning. And why, if you're winning, would you all of a sudden want to make a change in philosophy? And he stands by that, and I get it.
And what he's done, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's captured that respect right away, right? Like he just came in and turned this program around, and he has got people to buy into the program. And again, keeping people around, adding some new people, it's been pretty neat to see it happen, and I'm excited to watch some IU football.
Yeah, I saw Scott Dolson with a message to IU students a little bit earlier today as well. I should say this, there are some other Big Ten college football games later on tonight. Ohio, Rutgers at 6, Buffalo, Minnesota coming up later on tonight at 8. Brent had alluded to Nebraska and Cincinnati. That is in Kansas City, Missouri at Arrowhead coming up later on tonight at 9 o'clock. And in Madison, Miami of Ohio and Wisconsin. Luke Fickell is going to need a bounce back in a major way with whiskey coming up this season as they get their season started. The Friday Big Ten games features Michigan State. That's in East Lansing versus Western Michigan. And you have Western Illinois and 12th-ranked Illinois on Peacock coming up at 7:30 tomorrow night. And we also talked about a little bit earlier the games coming up on Saturday. Ball State, Purdue, that's in West Lafayette. You have Old Dominion and Indiana at 2:30. FS1 is that down in Bloomington. Don Fisher joins us to talk about that. Coming up tomorrow, Nevada, number 2, Penn State. That's Saturday afternoon at 3:30. Montana, number 7, Oregon at 4 o'clock on Big Ten Network. 6 o'clock, it's Albany and Iowa coming up on FS1. These are Saturday games. New Mexico, 14th ranked Michigan, 7:30 NBC and Peacock Saturday night. Missouri State, USC, Utah, UCLA, Colorado State, Washington, all the Saturday evening games. And I probably left out of the equation a noon start for Northwestern and Tulane on Saturday, and Florida Atlantic and Maryland at noon coming up on Saturday as well. All of those are Big Ten games basically wrapped around the biggest game going into this weekend. I think everybody would understand. Number 1, Texas. Number 3, Ohio State, Brent, over in Columbus coming up on Saturday afternoon. And we can watch that at Mystic Waters because we will have the TV out there.
Got TV inside. We got one rolling outside that'll be out there. You're going to have a lot of activity going on, and we're going to have those games being shown as well, John. Not a better way to kick off the weekend. Like I said, a couple of those big games. Hats off to the college football gurus that put this together for us, because we'll be able to see some pretty explosive stuff to start the season off with.
There's a hell of a way to start. JMV, I heard you had a little bit of brisket. I'm not actually smoking it. The awesome Jeff Watson from Paradise Day Watson smoking the brisket. I've got pork shoulder, a ham, and sausage. I dig that, BT, right there. The brisket and ribs, Brent, at Paradise Day Watson coming up on Sunday. It is the full meal deal for me this weekend. We got everything. It's all drinking, no eating.
No eating. You're not going to eat
cottage cheese eating.
You're not going to eat that brisket?
Drinking. Maybe a couple of bites.
Well, you got to.
I have. Here's something else that I've found. As much as I love both cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, I have fallen in love with cantaloupe.
Oh, I love cantaloupe too.
Anybody else out there in love with cantaloupe like me? For some reason, I used to be a big fan of pineapple. I still am, but I think cantaloupe right now is taking the fruit lead.
You mix that with your cottage cheese, right?
I don't.
Oh, John, put those together.
I eat it out of a bowl on the bed watching Magnum PI at 11 o'clock.
So I'm going to give you a couple behind the scenes, peek under the sheets view of what I like to do, and that is take some cantaloupe or take some pineapple in your cottage cheese together. Outstanding. Another thing I will tell you, and it's super healthy, beets and cottage cheese is it's a staple that my dad used to eat, and I always looked at him like, you're eating beets? Man, I'm hooked on it now. I mix those together all the time.
I put nothing in the cottage cheese. It is plain and it goes. But I'm digging on the cantaloupe. I did see this a little bit earlier too. Doris Burke from the ESPN on ABC NBA broadcast has been a part of the number 1 team. She evidently, according to Andrew Marchand, has been demoted, and it is Tim Legler, the ESPN analyst and former NBA player, that will take her position alongside Mike Breen and Richard Jefferson on the number 1. First of all, let's face it, this goes nowhere fast. When you had Breen and Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, that was the best. Simply put, it was the best. All this other stuff is just bullcrap window dressing. That was the absolute best. Now, granted, there's really no determining factor on what I'm going to watch and not going to watch because of an announcer or an analyst. But come on. The best would have been those 3, Breen, Jackson, and Van Gundy. And ESPN felt the need to go ahead and tear that apart. And this is all just rearranging deck chairs, I think, on the Titanic of what people really care about. I mean, who cares? who honestly cares after that? That was great. I always loved Van Gundy because Van Gundy could come at it from a former coaching angle and really got on the officials all the time. And everybody else tries to protect the poor officials. What about our officials? And Van Gundy got on the officials all the time, which I would honestly dig. But yeah, it's not the same, and really at this point it does not matter, Brent.
Hey, we'll see what the new regime is, and be happy to get some goods out there too, right?
I will say this: I thought Doris Burke absolutely knew what she was talking about. And so does Legler. I like Legler too, but it just pales in comparison.
Just
with
hearing
what they once had.
Doris at times is a little bit too much. Just the tone.
It will wear people out, and it will especially wear people out when something's not going right with their team or their team is losing. That's when you get, I think, if you're winning, you really don't care. It doesn't matter. But if your team is losing or not doing well in that moment,
it's salt in the wind.
That's when you start really getting on the announcer saying, well, this person sucks because this sucks. Well, really, it's your team or your favorite player that's sucking right now. It's not really the announcer. Probably shouldn't have that much bearing on it. But in my case, those 3 of the past were the absolute best, and ESPN felt the need to break it up. That's what they did. All right, Britt and I coming up on the other side. Jim Irsay, the Washington Post story from earlier today. I don't know in all how much new information. A lot of this had been bounced around and rumored, but the Washington Post had enough to go ahead and go with it with a story. And you know this to be true. If the Washington Post publishes it, then they're on top of it. Then no doubt. Now, you're going to say, well, wait a minute. Why are you not freaking out over this? It's because in these situations, when you have somebody that clearly can't get past it, like Jim Irsay, he couldn't overcome it. And it was tragic. It was sad the way that it ended. But, most of it you can consider truthful. And you can also understand if that information was not wanted to be readily available by the Colts. And most of that angle is the Colts and the cover-up and all that. But we'll go over that. Mike Chappell joins us coming up at the top of the hour. Rob Blackman with the Boilers starting a new football era with Barry Odom as head coach. Rob joins us at 5:30 coming up later on today. We are on the square in Noblesville. The Tavern tour stop finds us for August with Heaven Hill Distillery, the legendary Sids. 80 years of service, Sids in Noblesville. And you've got us hooked on. We'd love to see you here, too, as well, with the great food and the samples going on. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Did anybody knock anymore?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Couple of things. My man Paul Montgomery's in the house. We love Paulie. J-Law is here as well. He's got his IU Adidas red and white on. Getting ready for Saturday. Hey, J-Law, are you coming to Mystic Waters? Oh, man, you're going to do the whole balance thing. I dig that. Sid's in Noblesville. Matt Godbout is here with AAA. We're going to have something, James, to give away coming up in a minute. I ate cottage cheese. That's awesome. Brent Holverson is here making out a bill, that's a scroll right there, my brother. Did I do all that work?
That's you did, actually. That was just
I hope
yours
you're not closing
right
out
there.
yet because I still got more to drink.
No, we've got one of the lovely bartenders is leaving, so we want to
look at you right
make
there.
sure we get her taken care of. How
Now,
about
can
that?
you tell people where you used to work back in the day? Is that okay? Or do you not want to?
Sure.
Yes. Where you used to be the manager?
Oh, at the Fox and Hound.
Yes.
Yeah, that was 2001 to 2005.
The Fox and Hound was a big-time joint back then.
It was, and I had the pleasure of running the one on 82nd Street in Castleton from 01 to 04, and then
There was a lot of heeing and sheeing created in that place.
There really
the Fox
was.
and the Hound.
There really was, John, and hey, great spot back in the day. We had a lot of fun.
I thought you were going to transition to meeting Lisa there, but you didn't do it.
Well, I didn't, but that's where I met Lisa. So that's a great segue right there, my friend. But,
I was trying.
There was
the Fox and Hound.
Fox and Hound was a really special place. A lot of great people, like I said, and it was just one of those places that everybody came to be at. So. We had a great run there. I mean, it was a wonderful organization, and as times change, that was the thing. Now you got a lot of other great places that have come since. So, and we happen to be at one right now here at Sid's that's been around for 80 years.
80 years,
wow.
And we're thinking about some of those places that were great but aren't still around, like Fox and Hound. Right?
Champs was a hot spot for.
How about this, Crafty Cognies? In Speedway.
Never was there.
Anybody remember Crafty Cognies? And that's not, look at Bill's over there going, yeah, I know. Hey, look, Bill, he and she'd over there all the time. At Crafty Cognies right there. But I just think about in 80 years of Sid's, what has come and gone has been amazing. And to have that stick and stay power like this, to me, is incredible. Sid's is the same age as my mom. Wow. I told her that today. She goes, where are you going? I'm going to Noblesville to Sid's. I said, it's the same age as you.
I'm surprised she's not here then to celebrate.
Except they don't call me at 6 a.m. to talk about dogs. Okay. That's it.
Or to put out fires in the back 40 there, right?
Exactly. All right, Mark is here. Mark is a listener to the show. Mark, you used to work formerly for? Klipsch. And is it a new name now?
Yeah, it's called Premium Audio Company.
Hey, can we give Tommy Jacobs, Tommy High Socks, a little bit of crap because he's a long time been a big wig at Klipsch, what is it now called?
Premium Audio Company.
All right. Well, he's supposed to come over here with to my place with Rubber Duck, and the dude hadn't. But what the hell's the dude doing? Do you know? Where's Tommy?
He's at the U.S. Open.
Is he really? Well, can he get home from Queens and get back here and get my hot tub in order here?
I'll get him on it
Tommy
right away.
S., man. Come on, dude. That's Tommy S. is Tommy Sutton of coaches. But Tommy Jacobs, Tommy High Socks, THS, is who we're talking about right here. Anything on your mind, Mark, today? You want to make fun of Tommy?
Just want to talk about the Noblesville Boom coming out.
Oh, yes.
Very excited.
Yes.
Big.
You gave me the hat. Their logo is pretty damn awesome right there, too.
It's an awesome stadium. It's about seats 3,400 people. It's around $100 million investment by the city.
How popular will that be in and around here, you think, for people to go watch?
It'll be full every night.
Think so?
Yeah. If you understand, the NBA has the 360 best players in the world.
Yeah.
The G League has the other 360 best players in the world. So I think people want to come out and see that.
And then Johnson County has like one of them right there every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Now, I saw Chad Buchanan was up there, 2 weeks ago, I think, to make that particular announcement, the Pacer general manager, too. So it seems like something that is not just going to work, but is going to be a pretty big deal around here.
It will be. Very excited.
The Noblesville Boom, when does it officially get underway? Do you know, Mark?
I believe sometime coming up in the fall.
The Noblesville Boom. A year ago, I was going to try out for it, but I got dinged up and couldn't do it. Now that it got cut, I understand that, but I kind of wanted to try out a little bit. It was like they were just had an open tryout, and I called Chad and I go, I'm going to come up there and try out a little bit. He goes, yeah, come on up and try out. That'd be great. And then I got dinged up. I think it was you and I were at that cigar bar that was over near Ingalls, too. Do you remember you and I together? There was a cigar bar, and I was supposed to go afterwards to that, and I got dinged up and couldn't do it.
The final third cigar bar?
I believe so. That's where it was. Wow. About this time, getting close to this time last year, back in the early fall. Mark, great to see you again.
Thank you.
Hey, tell Tommy, man, come on,
We'll
man.
get him out there.
Come on, Rubber Duck.
It's on me.
Is he really at the U.S. Open right now?
Yes, he's in New York.
Good for him. Good to see you, Mark.
God bless you.
That's Mark live here at Sid's. We are in Noblesville for the Tavern Tour Stop with Brent Halverson of Heaven Hill Distillery, our betting analyst. We went over college football a little bit earlier. And we're also going through a lot of the news of the day. And certainly probably the most prolific of that news of the day was that story regarding Jim Irsay from the Washington Post. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, certainly there's a lot of stuff in there that had not been reported, had not been written, but you kind of look back on it, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I thought it was more of a focus on what the Colts didn't tell you or didn't make you aware of than it was anything else. Because I think everybody around here was pretty much aware the issue that he was going through from the time that he was missing, the games that he was missing because he never did. But we'll go over that. Mike Chappell's going to join us coming up in about 20 minutes, and we'll go over that with Mike a little bit more. But the Washington Post had that earlier today, and we had this discussion earlier. We'll do that with Mike coming up here at the top of the hour. Rob Blackman and the Boilermaker Radio Network. We'll talk Boilermaker football with Rob as they open up with Ball State. Rob joins us coming up at the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour. Sid's on a Tavern Tour Stop for the month of August. We're in Noblesville, Brent.
Hey, we are, and we have a couple of real special guests here joining us, John. Yes, we do. We have Rhonda here, who her title is HBIC.
Yes.
However, we'll also translate that out to the assistant GM.
She is.
And we have Dave, who is the kitchen manager here. Welcome, guys. Thank you for having us.
You guys are awesome. I saw them both less than a month ago. Now, it's weird that there's no Brian here. Where's guy Brian?
He's jet setting somewhere.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
now?
he's out of town.
Oh, good for him. Well, he sends the A players, though, to make sure we can.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about Sid's, right? So 80 years, which, number one, happy birthday and happy anniversary and all the good stuff here. This place is awesome. I mean, what you guys have done and turned this and kept it going for 80 years, and really what's happened over the past, 2 that Brian's had it, right?
Yep.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Sid's and what the HBIC has going on.
The HBIC, well, I've been here for 22 years.
That's outstanding.
It's a big deal. And this is just a neighborhood-friendly corner bar that everybody comes here. Everybody has a Sid story. Noblesville, all of Hamilton County, really. This is a staple in the community downtown.
It's definitely known, and again, great service, great people, great drinks. Dave, great food, man.
Great food.
I mean, awesome food. Everybody talks about, loves it. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been here, Dave.
I've been here since March. Been here since March.
March, okay.
Yeah, come out of a culinary background. So, chef at the Indiana Convention Center, RCA Dome for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Opened up a couple restaurants and decided that I wanted to take it easy, so I came to work at Sid's and have a good time.
How much fun is it, right? You got to have a lot of fun here.
It's a ball.
He loves me.
It's the HBIC, right? Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
So, 80 years of the celebration. How's the summer been for you guys?
Awesome. Really, really good. And actually, the 80th birthday is November 9th, so we're probably going to – that's like the day they signed it. So the party was just to celebrate, 80 years.
Absolutely.
But November 9th, 1945 was the day they signed that they've got SIDS. So we're probably going to have another party. You guys are invited.
Well, that's absolutely.
If you want to
need
come, you can come.
It's wild because I'm in a lot of bars and restaurants and places throughout the state, and to find a place that's been open 80 years it's kind of unheard of. We were just talking about an old location I used to work at. Was around for about 20 years, and that's a good run, but 80 years, I mean, that's why I know what we do this Evan Williams Tavern Tour. It's the tried and true places, the places that are here for a reason, and it's really all about the people, right? The people, the service, the vibe that's going on here, and this vibe's outstanding. I mean, look at the crowd in here right now. This is wonderful, right? I mean, nice little 4 o'clock run here today, but no, again, you got to have all the great staples, and you guys do it all well with service and food. The food's awesome. I mean, it really truly is. It's not your typical bar food, and Jeff, who was just here, had one of those tenderloins that is bigger than the plate. I mean, you guys are known for a lot of stuff. Great food. So we again appreciate you guys, and thanks for having us here, and we look forward to continuing to do some more stuff. And so, John, maybe November birthday party at Sid's.
I think that's a hell of a plan.
Should be
right
on
there.
the docket down or something. What about some things coming up? I know you guys have a lot of live music and a lot of events almost nightly. You got anything you want to share about what's coming up or going on?
Tonight we have Jay Baker.
Oh, Jay Baker's awesome.
And then we have our Queen of Hearts drawing, and then we have a jackpot up to $3,500. We're trying to get it even higher, though. So
I saw that board back there.
Yeah,
it's
fine.
$1
a ticket.
That's it?
Yeah.
I need some Queen of Heart action.
Yeah, you'll win something. Come on.
Hey, tell everybody about upstairs. Can you do that?
Yep, absolutely. So we remodeled upstairs, and it's a little bit higher end, not like whiskey bar, bourbon and tequilas and nicer things up there. So it's really comfy and cozy, and we rent it out too for private parties and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And you can see it at sidsfinefood.com.
Well, look at that, sidsfinefood.com.
Foods with an S.
Foods with an S.com.
Rhonda, thank you, and Dave, thank you for the cottage cheese right there, my brother. I appreciate you more than you know, man.
That's awesome. Guys, thank you
Rhonda
very
and
much.
Dave at Sid's, Tavern Tour Stop in
Thank you.
Noblesville. Matt Godbout of AAA's got something to give away. Mike Chappell will go a little bit more in-depth on the Jim Irsay Washington Post story of earlier today with Mike coming up at the top of the hour, plus a little bit more on the field stuff with the Colts with Mike. 5 o'clock hour on the inbound. We're on the square in Noblesville. Thank you for joining us. Brent and John, the Tavern Tour Stop with Heaven Hill Distillery is at the legendary Sid's in Noblesville with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Pay that man his money.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back, Sids in Noblesville. 80 years, the celebration. Tavern Tour Stop, Brent Halverson, JMV. I want to give a shout out to Josh Fryer of Beech Grove, who made the 53-man of the Arizona Cardinals. James, hard target Josh from Beech Grove to get on the show, especially before the Colts play the Cardinals later on this year, because he made that initial 53-man. That's outstanding. Congratulations to Josh. Of course, Josh played collegiately on that offensive line at Ohio State. All right, Sids, Noblesville, Mike Chappell, Rob Blackman coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Brent Halverson is back with us from Heaven Hill Distillery as we're having a fantastic time, buddy.
What a great turnout here. What a great place to be at. Again, their 80th year in business, and it truly embodies what we're doing on the Evan Williams Tavern Tour, and this is our third year of doing that. So, a lot of third years coming up. We got third year weekend bender out at Mystic Waters starting tomorrow. And then we've got our 8th season of the Larceny Locks Loonsville Shots that will kick off next Thursday at Joe's Grill in Castleton. So a lot of stuff to see. I'm excited. I get a lot of you, JMV, for the next, the next couple of months.
You can't get enough of me, buddy.
I can't get enough,
Can't get enough of me.
I can't get enough.
By the way, fantasy football, and we've got a restock of sorts from Heaven Hill Distillery to our fantasy football winner. We're giving away a substantial prize, as you well know. 317-239-1070. If you want in our fantasy football league, James is going to pick a winner from our text line right now. 317-239-1070. If you want in, James picks you. You're already in. James picks you on the text line. 317-239-1070. That's the text line. James picks a winner. Again, our winner take all bar restock courtesy of Heaven Hill Distillery on our text line right now. Here we go, James. They're coming in fast and furiously. Matt Godbout of AAA is also here. Matt's got some things to talk about and something to give away too, don't you, my brother?
We do. We, as part of our membership, different levels we have, we entered into a partnership with the Indianapolis Zoo this summer, and you get 35% off all e-tickets for our members, which is a great benefit. In recognition of that, we're going to do a family pack of 4 to the zoo and a parking pass.
Parking pass.
You pick the number, and whatever caller calls in at that number, we'll get their address and get them out to them.
James, number 18, will do 18 for the great Peyton Manning here in Indy. Number 18 at 239-1070. You get a family 4-pack to the zoo and a parking pass at 239-1070. James will get number 18 right now. You guys got something going on with IU too, don't you, at AAA, Matt?
We do. We're excited this season with IU football, with the success they had last year. We're actually title sponsor of B-Town Boulevard this season. So it's presented by AAA Insurance. So again, in recognition of our members, we're going to have a kind of a VIP area for our members where if you show your card, you get in free to the certain area down there at B-Town Boulevard, and free drink, free food before the game.
That's premium as hell now too with
cool.
parking.
Yeah. So free drink and free food down there. So show your card, get on in. It'll be a capacity type thing. So while capacity lasts, but if you get down there early, you want to get some free food and drink, head on down to B-Town Boulevard. That's presented by AAA Insurance, and we'll get you to that area and get you primed up for the game.
Oh, Goins is such a big-time IU guy. Is he as big on IU football as he is IU basketball?
He is. He's excited to get down there and see the games this season. But who wouldn't be? It's going to be a heck of a year.
Well, I mean, coming off of last year and then the excitement that has been put together with this team, it makes absolutely great sense.
Yeah,
it does.
This is going to be an exciting year for sure.
It does. What else you guys got going on?
Yeah, so September, we're really excited to partner up with Riley Children's Hospital. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So for every membership we sell during September, either a renewed membership or a new membership, a portion of those proceeds are going to be donated to Riley Children's Hospital. So we're excited to partner with them on that in recognition of childhood cancer awareness. We're also, Indianapolis Indians are also involved, so they have their big swing event down there, which is similar to Zubilation on the 26th. So every VIP ticket that they sell, they're going to donate $100 as part of the program too. So, going to be a good month. Raise some money for Riley, and hopefully it's a success. And we'll see where it goes.
AAA.com. Become a AAA member today. I tell you all the time. Yeah, make sure somebody's got your back, and you get all these extra perks as well. AAA.com. Matty, it's always a pleasure to have you here, man. You're going to play golf now? Is that true?
I'm going to go attempt to play golf, yes.
Where are we going?
Just over to Prairie View.
No, that's not too far.
Yeah, not too far at all.
Matty, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Tell Goins I said, hey.
Will do.
Hey, tell him not to be a stranger. What the hell?
I know. We got to get him up here get him here with you again. Yeah.
All right, good to see you, Matty.
Hey, thanks again.
Matt
Appreciate
Godbout
it.
at AAA right there. Brent Halverson of Heaven Hill Distillery. Sid's and 80 years in the celebration of our Tavern Tour stop for the month of August. We'll come back with Brent and Mike Chappell. All right, the Washington Post article with Mike. We'll go into that a little bit, too. And we got Rob Blackman, Boilermaker football, with Boilermaker Ball State matchup this weekend for week number 1 coming up. We'll talk to Rob about that and then some. Matt Painter's birthday was yesterday as well. How about Lou Pinella's birthday today? Lou Piniella, the architect of what, Brent Halverson? Can you name it?
The New York Yankees.
No, Lou Piniella, the architect of Wire to Wire, 1990, Cincinnati Reds. Oh. The last time we had any enjoyment whatsoever with Reds baseball.
Yeah, that's
seriously,
true. Yes.
I mean, everything else is just kind of a flash in the pan. 1990, Wire to Wire, Lou Piniella and the Cincinnati Reds as Sweet Lou celebrates a birthday today. We're on the square in Noblesville. Sids, join us. We'd love to have you. Heaven Hill Distillery with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Ride with JMV. I am obviously not JMV. John is out at Sid's in Noblesville. Seems we're having some technical difficulties right now. We will try and get him back on the horn here in a second. Till we do, let's go ahead and re-rack his conversation from earlier today with former Colts tight end Charles Arbuckle.
Team, number 3 ranked team, just going ahead and started early. But there's more than that. You've got, there's all kinds of big games out there. LSU, Clemson. You got what's the other game? The night game I'm skipping right now.
Notre Dame and Miami.
Notre Dame and Miami. I mean, there's 3 great games that you got to look at these. They're going to come out. And a lot of these games, John, starting off, you think they're going to come out slow and figure things out, right? They've got a lot of new things like what Notre Dame did in the transfer portal. There's a lot of new pieces in that puzzle, which I think they're going to be great. So I think that we're going to see some good fireworks. And, again, not a better way to start the true season out than what we've got on the slate for Saturday.
And that is Brent Holverson, who joins us this afternoon. We got some guests that are going to join us here live. We want to see you two. Sid's on the Square in Noblesville. This is a Tavern tour stop with Heaven Hill Distillery at 317-239-1070. That is the text line if you want to get there and send me some of what you have to say. We would love to have you. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, former Colts tight end, always a friend of this show, dabbles in now both college football and the NFL, a part of the Colts Radio Network. Charles Arbuckle joins us. Charles, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
You were talking about the linebacker situation. As I mentioned, as we recalibrated you here, it seems like that is an ever-changing environment with the exception of Zaire Franklin right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like each time they can, I thought the defensive backs was an area where they would keep looking, but that linebacking position has really been one where they're trying to figure that out. And I think that's the part that you have to understand and know, okay.
Hey, that's Charles Arbuckle a little bit earlier. I will get you a little insight on what just happened. We had a massive power failure right here, and our system just went down. Shout out to Phelan, who was acting quickly and got this thing back up. I don't know. I've done this for the better part of 20 years. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that in my life. Because we were during the break, and I'm sitting here talking to somebody that just came in to join us, and poof, the power goes out. And it wasn't because Brent Holverson, the Packer fan, just found out that Micah Parsons is going to the Packers.
Holy moly.
It was not because of that.
That had to break the internet and turn everything off. It had to.
No, seriously, poof, and we were just gone.
Wow.
Poof.
That's big news,
And Phelan
John.
was sitting there, and Phelan thought we were going to fist bump, and I go, no, I think we're off the air right now, buddy. And we just, all the electronics, poof, disappeared.
That is that's
Yes.
pretty spectacular. That news caused that. That's big.
Micah
Holy
Parsons
cow.
to the Packers.
Woo.
More on that with this big Packers fan in a moment. Sid's in Noblesville Tavern tour stop again. Thank you for joining us. And Rob Blackman at the bottom of the hour, but on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from CBS 4 on Fox 59. Mike Chappell joins us. I don't even know where to begin about this Washington Post thing today. I mean, a lot of this was rumor and stuff, and Mike, you and I had talked about this personally off the air before, and some of this stuff is now rehashed. I guess all I have to say about it, Mike, is, and you can elaborate, is that we're probably going to get a couple of more stories that are similar to this before it all ends, right?
Well, I think in my mind, and people can disagree, I think the only thing that matters now is will the doctor be open to any kind of legal problems? I don't know. Yeah, this is a touchy subject. There wasn't a lot in there that I didn't know, and in fact, it hasn't been reported. Now, they had details, things that we hadn't had, that maybe we had known but couldn't confirm. And here I go. I'm the old guy sitting on I am the old guy sitting on my front porch right now. But I'm not crazy about delving into it. I'm just not. I knew most of that stuff. I couldn't confirm it. Some of the stuff I wouldn't report. Some of it is just it's personal stuff. And Jim shared a lot. Now, some things people can argue about. I know we knew about the overdoses. Maybe not the one specifically where they were, but we knew there had been overdoses. So yeah, I'm not really into getting into it too much because it's, Jim's passed away and he's not here to respond, and the family's certainly not going to respond. The team's not going to respond. So I guess I'm just going to let the Washington Post run with it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it. To me, it was a little bit more, I thought, focused about, and this is at least how I read it. Maybe I just interpreted this differently. I read it more like, well, this is what the Colts covered up more than it was really anything else.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think, again, being as close to it as I was, there's no question that they God, I hate the word covered up, but they protected Jim and his image as much as possible. And we can argue whether they should have. And I know part of where it's dicey is when he's running the franchise and he's having his problems. Although I'm telling you, in the last 2.5, 3 years, the daughters were doing the heavy lifting. They simply were. So when a lot of this stuff near the end, when he's, heavier on the pain meds, Carly and Kaylin and Casey were really, really running for the most part the team. So, but yeah, I understand. No question. There's no question. And I go back to when the big story hit about the December 23, the incident in his Carmel home, when paramedics were called and, they put it down as a suspected drug overdose and they gave Narcan. And I remember talking to him, whether it was a month or 2 months later, and that's where he said it wasn't an overdose. And I said, we've got the report here. He said it wasn't an overdose. And I left it at that. I'm not going to get in an argument and start saying, well, I'll call Carmel. No. So that's, yes, there was that going on. There was. That was the family and the team protecting their owner. It was. And if someone wants to make a big stink about that, they certainly have all the ammunition they want. I choose not to, and I'm going to be honest up front. Part of it is that this is a friend I'm talking about, and again, he's passed away. But no, every argument you make can be made, will be made. That's just a path that I'm really not interested in traveling.
Well, and you will probably speak to this because you probably heard it. I have gotten, and because we do this here locally, people are going to say, well, you didn't talk about this, you didn't talk about that. But what I've received more than anything else was, and I agree with you, I mean, it was, the personal life of Jim Irsay that they were protecting, but I get, well, they were, protecting, what was going on from the NFL for an impact from the NFL more than anything else. And I always just kind of revert back to like what you just said. It was more family protecting a family situation, or, the Colts protecting a family situation, I guess, in this case, more than I thought it was anything else.
Well, and one thing, again, I don't know all the facts. I don't know all this. I'm not a legal guy, but I'm wondering what that came out of this was illegal. Other than I don't know where the doctor, if a doctor prescribes them, then I don't know what's legal and what's illegal, like from the league standpoint. I don't know, and that's, again, I'm not a guy who understands all that stuff, but the legalities of it, and I can't imagine the NFL doing anything in hindsight now that they got any more information, it was a story that sort of in my mind brought everything together. And instead of locally where we maybe piecemeal this, that, and the other, and we all wrote quite a bit about it back in December or January, 23 and 24. We all did quite a bit of that. Now we didn't have all the details at all, but we knew there were more than one overdose incidents. We knew that. We didn't know specifically where. I knew he didn't pass away here. I knew he did on the West Coast. I knew that, and I was told to please not use that, so I didn't when we first wrote the story. So, yeah, the thing is right now, Jim is such an easy target because of all of his flaws. And, if people want to complain about me, that's fine. That's just, I'm not going to join in reporting more. Now, if it gets to be where the league enters into it, of course. But right now, I have no interest in it. Because again, I knew most of that stuff, and some of it I couldn't confirm. But we reported what we thought we needed to report, and that's to me the end of it. Unless again, this doctor gets his butt in hot water, which maybe he does. I don't know.
Hey, Mike, do you ever find yourself thinking about where exactly that they confirmed a lot of this information to go with it?
Yeah, I've got some ideas,
too.
but
I do too.
I know. And yeah, I know, and we'll leave it at that. I will.
No, that's right. That's where I want it to stay. But I just think I guess what I'm trying to say is that just kind of comes naturally, doesn't it?
Well, and that's the thing. I tell you, I Pete Ward. Gosh, I'm not transitioning from what you just said to Pete Ward at all. Pete has been by Jim's side. If you know what I mean.
Well, thanks a lot, Chappell. Way to go. Yeah.
I needed a lot more of a pause between that.
Yeah.
Pete Ward's value to this franchise and his value during the years to Jim is immeasurable. It just is.
Mike, it wouldn't run. It would not have run at all without him. No way.
In listening at Jimmy's celebration of life, and when Carly talked about, I think maybe all the daughters did, and somebody that they pointed out and they singled out was Pete Ward, and the things that he has done with Jim and helped run this franchise. He knows he knows where everything is that has to be done. And if Carly has any questions, then Carly knows her stuff. She does. But Pete knows everything and who to call, what to do. And if there's any questions on operational things, it's Pete. And Jim valued him incredibly. They were together forever. And when you talk about valued right-hand men, there's none better than Pete Ward.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So on the field, I guess Micah Parsons was legitimately available as of this afternoon, right?
Who knew? I mean, I've always thought that what you do, you get your quarterback and you keep him. You get your left tackle and you keep him. You get your pass rusher and you keep him. Now, I guess we could argue paying him, was it $47 million a year? Every team's got a grunt level, not on quarterbacks, but on other positions. But my goodness, yeah, you're right. I think Jerry Jones said, well, that's just a negotiations ploy. Well, man, it must have been very clear that they were not going to sign Parsons for that kind of money. And can you imagine if they had not traded him and held firm and made him play under his current contract and in franchising? He's already shown that he wasn't going to go for that at all. So I didn't see what the compensation is. Is it 2 first-round picks or whatever? I didn't see that. But these are going to be 2 crappy first-round picks. Green Bay's going to be pretty good. So you're going to get a pick, 25, 26, for a guy that's whatever Parsons is, 24, 25 years old. Boy, you get those pass rushers. And again, everybody's got a level that they're not going to cross on cost. But holy smokes, we'll see how this plays out. But I really thought that like Trey Hendrickson and Terry McLaurin, that they would get this done. But we're talking different money than Hendrickson and McLaurin. Hey, good for Parsons. I'm all for players getting everything they can.
I think that and I know we're going to talk about Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson and the quarterback, and that's great. But if we're not talking about that, if like Laiatu Latu can be just anything consistent in pressure.
Exactly.
Mike, what they've done in the secondary, I can get down with right here. And I think that changes the dynamic, not as much as the quarterback position does, because nothing does anywhere in sports.
Right.
But you dial it up with consistent. And I mentioned that about Micah Parsons. You bring him in, you legitimize yourself immediately, I think, regardless of your offensive situation. Just
and I think that's what they did.
Laiatu Latu has an opportunity, Mike, I think, to lay claim, at least consistently, to help them out in a fashion we haven't seen since Robert Mathis.
No question. And he, I thought he had a good first year. Not great, but a good one. Very similar to Jared Verse, who was Rookie of the Year. And again, how many times he said, I was just almost there, almost had a sack. Well, now you've got a secondary that, if it stays healthy, which has been a problem, and you give him that another half a second to where he can close. And we saw what Odiangbo got in the offseason, and he's just been good. And if I like their defensive line. I like the combination at edge pass rusher. He's got a chance, and he needs to be the tip of the spear to where you get 12, 13 sacks from him. And the opportunity's there. This will be a better defense. It will. And people say, yeah, look how bad they were last year. No, I'm saying they will be a better defense. And then we can transition to, I have no idea what this offense is going to be. I really don't.
I think if the quarterback can throw it in the general vicinity, it's weird. We used to talk about the quarterbacks, like positioning things for the receivers to make plays. Now we're talking about the receivers or the other skill position players positioning themselves to make plays for the quarterback. I think it's doable, especially within that division and with that schedule. We just haven't seen it in so long, nobody's going to count on it or believe it's going to take place.
Well, yeah, it's one of those show me.
Yeah.
Show me. You guys you've gone with Daniel Jones, who's had, whatever the reason, he's had one good year, statistically and individually with the playoffs with the Giants. And I think this might be the best skill group the Colts have had. I was going back and forth with Reggie Wayne about this. I think this is the best receiver group since 2010. It was Reggie and Garcon and Austin Collie and Blair White. And this group's better. As good. And you've got Jonathan Taylor, who is as good. He's a top 3 running back. Now, we question his pass catching and protection. I understand that. But a top 3 running back. You got a tight end who is going to be good. Very good. And the offensive line, we'll see. But no, I like this supporting cast. I just don't know what to expect. All they need to get, and it's not that simple as all, they need, like we were talking, they need to have, remember how Chris Ballard the other day brought up Alex Smith's name with the Niners and then the Chiefs. Alex Smith that's kind of what you'd like to have, maybe the bottom, at least give me Alex Smith. He was pretty good. When he got his act together, he was pretty good. I'd take Alex Smith here right now, and I'd feel really, really good about my chances. I just hope that the quarterback plays at a competent level, and we can argue whatever competent means, because the other pieces around the quarterback, I think, are in place.
Mike, was the 2023 draft one of the worst drafts we've ever witnessed in the history of the Colts here?
We've probably had other ones with Philip Dorsett and
Bjorn Werner. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, but that was Josh Downs this year too, wasn't it? But whenever
Yes,
whenever
it was.
whenever the
Josh,
quarterback
Josh Downs, and there was one more in there.
was
That
the
had an
Daniel
impact.
Scott who's been injured.
Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, there wasn't much impact other than that. That was it. Yeah.
But whenever the quarterback doesn't pan out, if Anthony Richardson was the only player in that draft to pan out, you had a great draft. But that's not the case. Juju Brents not working out. So yeah, it's right out there. I'd have to. Whenever the quarterback is the one that doesn't work out, Jeff George in 1990, for a lot of reasons. Whenever that's the one that doesn't work out, it just sets you back. And I keep harping on this. Over the last 4 or 5 years, they've just Jonathan Taylor, all pro. In the offensive line and the receivers have played well. And Quentin Nelson, DeForest Buckner. And what have you got? Because by and large, the quarterback hasn't been up to what he needs to be. So that you got to get it right. And I don't know if it's right now. I really don't. I am more curious. I am much more curious than I am confident. We're going to know. You're going to come out next week and you're going to be as right as you've been on must-wins. I mean, I'm telling you, Miami at home, Denver at home, we will know everything we need to know about this team after 2 weeks. I really believe that.
In closing with Mike Chappell, as we have to hit a break, I will leave you at this. I much more consider the impact that Jim Irsay had on where we have been and hopefully where we end up going and what we thought about this place before he and this team got here. And I tend to really lean on that more than anything else. I mean, regardless of the reporting and the stories and the stuff that's being talked about now, I tend to really look at the impact he had on things more so about that than I do. I mean, we know the personal demons, we know his personal life, and we know how it sadly ended back in May. But still, the impact that he had on this city, this community, this area is immeasurable, and simply put, would not happen without him. So, regardless of what's in the story.
Going forward, his impact will be seen, and I'm with you. I sort of want to say let the man rest and enjoy what he left behind. That's the way I would leave it.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Always appreciate what you bring to the table every Thursday. And next week, we'll be talking about stuff for real coming up in week number 1.
You're going to mention must win a couple times, aren't you?
Well, there's no doubt this game, week 1's a must win. Hey, you do understand that, don't you? Must win week 1. I mean, it's a low bar that's set here.
I've not agreed with you all the time. This one, yes.
There you go, my buddy. Appreciate you. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
Talk to you next week.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 SIDS. We're on the square in Noblesville. 80 years. We celebrate. Heaven Hill Distillery. Brent Holverson rejoins. Rob Blackman. Boilermaker Radio Network. Do not go anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Got your asses whipped by a bunch of damn nerds.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Thank you very much, my brother. Hey, here's your pen. There's your pen, too. Hey, we're at Sid's in Noblesville. Brent Halverson, JMV. Brent, how you doing over there?
John, I could not be any better, my man. What a great day at Sid's, and what big information coming out of Green Bay today.
Oh, you're so excited. You have a sports arousal right there, Brent Halverson of Heaven Hill Distillery.
Absolutely right,
Yes.
man. That is big. Packers, they don't traditionally do things of that nature.
Yeah.
I mean, we traded 2 first-round draft picks and Kenny Clark, unfortunately, but you get Micah Parsons, 25-year-old stud.
Run with it.
Oh, my God, that's outstanding. Today's a special day in history,
That's a big day. That was the deal from Dallas to Green Bay. We'll talk about here before the end of the show with Brent Halverson rejoins. We're tomorrow and Saturday, Mystic Waters Campground. You guys got to join us, especially coming up tomorrow for the afternoon show. Taylor's Pub and Table in Ingalls will provide the food tomorrow for us, too, so make sure you're a part of the festivities, our 3rd annual Labor Day weekend bender at Mystic Waters Campground. Brent rejoined us a second on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, part of the Boilermaker Radio Network. He's our good friend, Rob Blackman. Hello, Rob. How are you?
Hey, John. What's up, man?
How'd you celebrate Painter's birthday yesterday? What'd you do?
I feel like such an idiot. I totally forgot to even send him a text. I didn't even. I realized it this morning. I was like, oh, what an idiot. I didn't even send Coach Payne a text on his birthday. So, yeah, I totally do that.
I sent him a eastbound and down Stevie Janowski text for his birthday. He always seems to really enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm sure he liked that one. Absolutely.
He does. All right, so we embark upon a new era, I guess another era, Purdue football head coaching with Barry Odom coming up this weekend. What are we thinking about that and the matchup with Ball State, Rob?
Yeah, boy, great question. And I don't know that I have a good answer for you, especially when you have 82 new players and 54 transfers. It's kind of hard to, and I've been to a number of practices over the last 4.5 weeks, but even I have a tough time kind of sifting through what who's who and who's going to play where and who's going to be the better players and who will be the top guys as far as filling a role for this team. So I don't know, John. There's probably as much unknown about this team. And this is my 22nd year on the Purdue Football Radio Network. I can't remember a time where there've been this many unknowns going into a season. And again, it makes sense when you have that many new players and that many new coaches, including your new head coach. So I don't know what to expect. I do know from what I've seen in the practices, this group does seem to be organized. They seem to be well coached. They seem to play hard and do all the intangibles that you would like to have a team do on a semi-regular basis. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Ask me again on Monday because right now I'm not sure what to think.
Is there I remember the level of excitement when Jeff Brom took the job in West Lafayette. Is there anything close to that with Barry Odom, or is there a little bit more of an unknown with him?
No, actually, it's probably a good comparison because the situations are so similar. You think about Coach Braun was coming in on the heels of Coach Hazel, and we were really struggling, obviously. I mean, we weren't going to bowl games. We were lucky to win 4 games a year. So there was this renewed sense of enthusiasm because you had Jeff Brom coming in, who had some success. Now, granted, it had been at Western Kentucky, but at least he'd had some head coaching success. So you kind of felt like, okay, we might have a chance here. And it's really a very similar here for Barry Odom because, well, I mean, look, Purdue football could not have been any worse than they were last year. Let's just cut right to the chase. Purdue was terrible. So it's a very similar situation. You have a new coach taking over for a program that, quite frankly, is in the bottom of the Big Ten. And I mean the bottom, the very bottom, number 18th position here. But in a similar vein, he does have head coaching experience. He has had success in his other stops where he's been a head coach, Missouri and UNLV. So I think the comparisons are pretty valid. And for Coach Odom, similar to Coach Brom, I mean, they're taking over situations that were dumpster fires. So you really have nowhere to go but up. And so if Barry Odom can, and I think he can do this, but if he can have any anywhere close to the level of success that Jeff Brom had. I think Purdue fans are going to be quite pleased with that.
So, Rob Blackman of the Boilermaker Radio Network's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, who forgot about Matt Painter's birthday. He joins us on this Thursday. Thank you very much. I am curious about this. You had a quarterback that maybe you can further explain the story, was in West Lafayette, jetted to Chapel Hill, then came back to West Lafayette, and that's the starter? That's how that goes?
Yeah, Ryan Brown.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, there is nothing more descriptive of this era of college athletics than that right there.
Yeah, and look, I don't know how it all went down. My gut tells me, my gut feeling is, Ryan Brown's playing in North Carolina for spring ball, and some of his old Purdue teammates, although there weren't very many of them left, but some of them that were still around. They were with Purdue through spring ball, and when spring ball was over, they called their former buddy Ryan Brown and said, "Hey man, we need a quarterback. You might want to come back." Now, again, I'm not positive that's how it went down, but I sure have a gut feeling that's how it went down. So Ryan Brown was like, "Sure, man, I'll come back, and why not?" Look, he had limited success certainly last year for Purdue. Played in that game in Illinois and played really well. Purdue did not win, but they at least were competitive in that game. I'm certain that it got back to him somehow, some way that, hey, Purdue's in a real pickle here for a starting quarterback. This would be a great opportunity for you. And he said, what the heck, I'll transfer back to Purdue. So, and to be fair to him, he has been clearly the best quarterback through the summer camp, through the fall workouts here. He has earned that position. I don't think Purdue's going to just play one quarterback Saturday, John. My gut tells me Malachi Singleton's going to get some snaps too, and I think Purdue will play two quarterbacks at least to start the season, and then kind of see how it shakes out. But Ryan Brown has certainly won the job. He won it in camp. He was the best quarterback all through camp, and he deserves this opportunity. But yeah, I'm sure when he transferred to North Carolina to play for Bill Belichick last year, the last thing on his mind was coming back to Purdue. But here he is.
Hey, Rob, you got to get Devin Mockabee some sort of plaque or something, some kind of badge of honor, don't you? 3 head coaches and staying up there the entirety of the time. Listen, you know this to be true because that's where you went to college. That's Southern Indiana strong right there, my brother. You know what? That is that's Southern Indiana loyalty in a nutshell.
So much respect for him. We had him on our podcast that we do at Purdue, and we were talking about, I mean, he literally, John, has seen both ends of it. He's been on a team that played in the Big Ten championship game, and he's been on a team that won one game. I mean, he has literally been at both ends of it, and yet has decided to stick it out. And, I mean, he has an outside chance to become Purdue's all-time leading rusher. It would take a bit of a Herculean effort for him to do that, but he certainly could get close this year to being the all-time leading rusher in school history. But, yes, the fact that he stuck it out, and to hear him talk about how one of the main reasons he stuck it out is he wanted to get his mechanical engineering degree from Purdue, I mean, that's awfully refreshing to hear a student athlete say that these days, especially.
Well, he can also tune up your car if you ask him to as well, which is also, to me, a plus. So
I had some fun. I had some fun with him on the podcast, and you'll appreciate this. I asked how many times he'd been to the Tri-State Speedway in Haubstadt, but he said only once. He's only been there one time, which I thought was a bit of a miracle. I thought for sure he was going to say like 12 or 15 times.
Yeah, as you'd think somebody like that has been to Haubstadt. The Tri-State Speedway, I would think that and Salem and the Bloomington Speedway would kind of be places, Paragon, that he'd hit a great deal during his youth, right?
You would think, hey, man, that's when I was living down there. That's where I was hanging out.
And no doubt. Hey, Rob, man, it's good to hear you again. Everything else going okay?
I think so. Got now both kids are off to college, so I'm an empty nester. So the wife and I are loving that. Well, at least I'm loving it. I don't know if she is, but I am.
Lord have mercy. What is going on in Zionsville? The empty nest.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, hang with it. We'll talk to you over the course of the season, and especially, too, when we get back into basketball. But hang loose, and, hey, listen, anything I would have to think would be better than what it was a year ago, so you got that going for you right now, right? So that's good.
Yeah, you got literally nowhere to go but up after that season, that disastrous season last year, so you're absolutely right.
Good to hear from you, buddy. Enjoy the broadcast.
Okay, John. Thanks, man. See you, bud.
Rob Blackman of the Boilermaker Radio Network, Purdue and Ball State from West Lafayette coming up on Saturday at noon. Brent Halverson, Heaven Hill Distillery, is with us. We're going to be at Mystic Waters coming up tomorrow. That's Friday and Saturday for our Labor Day weekend bender.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, buddy.
Let's do it, man.
I'm born ready.
I was born ready. You were born ready.
I was born
looking
ready.
forward to it. I mean, again, what a jam-packed little week, rolling into a nice holiday weekend for us here. I mean, great day here at Sid's. I mean, wow, 80 years, right? Now we're going to roll into the third edition of the Weekend Bender.
Can't wait.
Show tomorrow, 3 to 6. A lot of good things going on with food from Taylor's. We got some great music out there. Then Saturday, we're going to have some music. We're going to have college football. We talked about some really big games.
There's a
My
fine
man
human
coming
being
in right
there. Emax is in the house.
Emax in the house. Got some music in the afternoon. We got the JMV Takeover Saturday night.
Yes.
Going to be a lot of good stuff, John. And then, hey, we roll right into next weekend, Thursday, Joe's Grill, Castleton. We start the 8th year of Larceny Locks and Lunazul Shots.
Look at Litzy and Jess Swisher right there.
Hey, sweet.
Isn't that Jess Swisher cute?
She's amazing.
She is so cute.
Litzy's a lucky guy, you know that?
Yes, I don't know how the hell this
I don't
happened.
either.
I try to figure that out all the time. I go, what? He's a hell of a dude. That must count.
He did the caveman thing. I wonder if that's how that all came together there, right?
All right, Brent rejoins for the final time. Legendary Sid's in Noblesville Tavern Tour Stop, celebrating 80 years. We come back with Heaven Hill Distillery, but for Tony Rans right now, 50 in betting, 50 in dining. Somebody's going to win it. Here's your Harris Hoosier Park race of the day.
minute. Did anybody knock anymore?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
David Hubble, some more blue paid out. $2.10, $2 bet, $2 exacta, $3.60, 50-cent trifecta, $1.75. Harris Leisure Park race of the day. 50 in betting, 50 in dining to David Hubble. We'll do it again coming up tomorrow to close out the week. The Harris Leisure Park race of the day. And Brent Holverson, we love ourselves some Tony Renz, don't we?
Do love some Tony Renz. You know, it's been a minute since. Tony, if you're out there, listen, man, let's get together and chat soon.
He's got to join us tomorrow. Where's Tony Renz tomorrow? He's got to be there.
I'll shoot him a note. We'll have to make that happen. It's right in his neck of the woods.
Not too far away from Harris Leisure Park Racing and Casino in Anderson. Paul Montgomery is the superstar right there. We know that to be true. Now, do we have a lot of your workers right here?
So we do have some Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits folks rolling in here. Nicole Miller, it's a little going away party for her from Southern.
She's going to come on.
She's going to join us tomorrow.
Oh, these are Southern Wine and Spirits people.
Southern Glazers right here. Yep, absolutely. And that's where Nicole came from, used to work, and she is now with Heaven Hill. And we were.
I seem to know somebody from Southern. I know somebody from Southern Wine and Spirits a little bit too. Well,
I know a couple of them.
I do. Did you bring me something there, Emax? What did Emax bring me? AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. You just give me a white T-shirt, cool. Oh, Caitlin was here. Well, he need to be rocking that right here. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Emax, thank you very much. All right, so we've got Sid's. That's our location. 80 years of the celebration, buddy.
Outstanding, and you know, we're honored to be here to be part of this with their 80th. But just again, a great spot. If you're anywhere near the square in Noblesville, it's right on the corner here. Come on out and join Sid's. They have an amazing atmosphere, great vibe, great staff. They've got the menu's awesome, food's great, and their cocktails are always flowing. And they have Jay Baker Trio playing tonight. A lot of good music around here too.
Jay Baker Trio is one of the more popular bands.
They really are.
Here.
Absolutely are.
They're like the chosen few of the 1990s.
Very well put.
90s.
Very well put. Yeah.
They're almost like Situation Grey of the early 90s.
Look at you bringing.
They're almost like Push Down and Turn of the early 90s.
I love it, man. No, they are great. They're and again, they're coming here. I think they start at 8. I think is what they said. They play here every other Thursday. So, good reason to get out to Sid's if you haven't been here. Come out, check them out tonight. Even.
Did you have those bands back at your place at Box of the Helm?
No, but they played for me at Headliners at Ball State.
Did you ever have? Trying to think of the other bands. Push Down and Turn.
Push Down and Turn.
Chosen Few.
Yeah.
Ma Kelly.
Ma Kelly did not play for us. No, Ma Kelly. No. But, I mean, the Y Store, one of my favorite local bands, right? They were just getting started.
To Chris
Schaefer. Happy belated, Mr. Chris Schaefer. It was just yesterday. So.
I was always mad because he always got all the strange. I was always very jealous of Schaefer because he got all the strange. Realize,
with
yes. Kelsey.
She was amazing. Her voice.
She worked at the former Moen Johnny's, which is now the Bulldog, for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kelsey, if realized.
You remember
I may have stalked her a little bit.
Danny Flanagan in the Rain Chorus?
How about that?
Yeah.
Danny Flanagan with the Alligator Brothers.
Alligator Brothers. They were awesome.
Alligator Brothers. Those were great local bands back in the day. They still have the local band. Stone Carnival was one from Bedford. I think that's how Clayton Anderson kind of got started.
Is it really?
By the way, Clayton's Bar, Clayton's Country Bar, he and Steve are firing that bad boy up here coming up soon.
I believe that opens next week
right
after the holiday,
you're right, and I think I'm going to be in there in the not-so-distant future.
Well, we should
Clayton's Country Bar downtown.
Place is pretty. I'm excited to see what they do. That's going to be a great spot, and again, bringing something that Indianapolis needs, especially downtown. Country music and all the conventions we get, you get a lot of people in town that want to hear it. So I think they're going to do very well, and we'll definitely have to get us a show in there again soon.
The Labor Day weekend bender's officially underway. Are we ready for tomorrow, my brother?
I am absolutely ready, my friend. We got a big weekend in front of us, so get yourself some rest tonight.
I'm ready.
You're not going to get much this weekend.
I'm going to get some bed rest. If this cabin's rocking, go ahead and knock. Go ahead and knock, because we're having some fun in there.
Come on in.
My brother, I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you, John.
Brent Holverson, Heaven Hill Distillery. He's got a sports arousal because Micah Parsons is now a member of his Packers. Shout out to Mike Chappell, Charles Arbuckle. Not to mention our guy, Rob Blackman of the Boilermaker Radio Network. Phelan and James, great job out of you guys. A power failure, and these guys scrambled and were fantastic. Tomorrow, I want to see everybody for the weekend bender Mystic Waters Campground, Pendleton I-69. We started tomorrow at 3 with you on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Have a great night.